I will just focus on two things that I'm very familiar with. One is in the context of overseas work. Because as a faculty of the Asian Center, I've been involved in international work also, giving technical assistance to the Department of Foreign Affairs, the ASEAN mechanism. And one of the things that I have always asked the support of the military, the Navy, is of course in the context of helping our overseas contract workers, Filipinos who live abroad. Ano ba ito? Marunong. Let me start by just highlighting, and this were mentioned already a while ago. One is kidnapping for ransom, work dislocation due to armed conflicts. We have just rescued so many of our migrant workers because of so many armed conflicts and disasters happening all over the world. The last, of course, was mentioned already a while ago. Provided assistance to 997 Filipinos who were stranded and caught in middle and civil unrest in Thailand. I know because we were part of the rescue team that the Navy, of course, and the military helped a lot. We coordinated the release and return to the country of 117 Filipino seafarers. Do you still remember this? O hindi pa kayo pinapanganak? Who were held hostage in Somalia. Way back in 2006, the DFA has negotiated the release or imposition of lighter penalty of 6 to 8 Filipinos in the death row. Just recently also in Indonesia, we had to rescue some of our co-Filipinos. Also in Malaysia, with the help of the military and the Navy. Oh, sorry again. I'm really crazy. Maritime work in the context of responding to the needs of OFWs. We have 3 frameworks now when it comes to helping our OFWs. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. Is this in your curricular program, Madam President? Humanitarian action, political instabilities, disasters, and climate change. Ang isang magandang example na ibibigay ko yung Yolanda. This is one of the difficulties, of course, because because being part of UP and the Gender Studies program, we have helped government agencies come up with gender guidelines and templates on how to do rescue. So one very concrete example is that the Philippine Commission on Women has come out with a very, very good mechanism and template what to do when we will do the rescue. So ano nangyari sa Yolanda? Alam niyo yan, natandaan nyo. So pumasok ang Navy doon. And in our guidelines, nakalagay, merong isang special lane para sa mga buntis, sa matatanda, at saka sa mga bulag. Doon sa kabila, yung mga malalakas, no? But then, the number of lives, the military and the Navy, it is in terms of numbers, no? So the demand on your part is to save as many people, right? Kasi doon kayo makakasuhan pagka-accountant sumakay sa barko nyo. So what happened is there were 2 lanes naman. Pagbaba dun sa mga isla, kasi talagang nagbaha lahat, this was reported to us, the team, when we did the evaluation later, was that all the citizens who were there just scrambled and went up. So the survival of the fittest philosophy. And what happened, if you look at the statistics on the number of deaths, They were mostly elderly, women, pregnant women, and children. So when the investigation was done, of course we had an investigation, we had an evaluation. We asked the military and the Navy what happened. And we could not implement the mechanism of rescue. I think this is very important that we have to be very strong in terms of implementing the guidelines when we do humanitarian action. Let's remember pregnant women, the elderly, and all the vulnerable, no? Yung tinatawag nating vulnerable at high risk. Maritime work also is involved in support for embassies and other diplomatic offices abroad for the repatriation of illegal migrant workers. We just had one. Trump threw away many. Sa California, hinakot lahat yung mga walang legal papers. Was the Navy involved? No. It was the military, I think, Air Force. But then we also requested commercial planes, no, to bring all of these workers, so-called illegal migrant Filipinos from the United States. Maritime work is also involved in terms of support for addressing the risks and vulnerabilities of the private industries engaged in international and local trade. I think we have so many documentation of ship piracy, kidnapping sa West Philippine Sea lang, yung kanginang kwento sa atin, mga fisher folks natin, hindi halos makapag-fishing doon. Yung ating, we also have the very precious coral reef doon. And I was told that some of our professors could not even go there anymore to do some field work or research because of the Chinese ships hovering around. I will just be very brief. Our overseas contract workers are the leading contribute a lot, no, to national income, and in fact, we have called them yung mga heroes, mga bayani ng bayan. And 12% of our GNP comes from the income of OFWs, or our brothers and sisters abroad. The gender dimension here comes from the fact that the number of migrant workers, historically, when we were sending more male seafarers, sending soldiers, sending engineers all over the world, it was so male-dominated. What has happened over the years is the increasing presence of females working abroad. We are now the number one contributor, which is very sad, no, of mga tinatawag nating nagtatrabaho sa bahay, o yung mga service workers at home. So, but the general framework, general data tells us now that there is practically uneven, no? It's not statistically significant anymore, no? So talagang may babae at lalaki na parehong nagtatrabaho abroad. What is the relevance of this to maritime work? The high numbers of female OFWs across the world requires the maritime industry to respond to their common and specific needs, especially during rescue operations, because I have witnessed this myself. I went to Bangladesh at one time, and I have seen kung hindi gender sensitive ang Navy at hindi handa ang ship, hindi handa yung rescue operation. Talagang ang unang mamamatay ay mga babae, buntis, nanay, at saka mga bata. The Philippine government, through the Philippine Commission on Women, encourages, therefore, the deployment of females during these operations. I would like to call attention also to the fact that you have to implement the 14 laws protecting women from abuse and laws that promote gender equality. What we have done now is law-based. We spent a lot of our energies and time to get all the laws passed. And we have created courts that will bring you to justice if all of these laws are violated. So we have the Violence Against Women law, we have the Magna Carta, which is very important. Under the Magna Carta law, it is the fundamental basic human rights of women to have equal access to all opportunities. The international quota, and we have not complied with it, nakita ko yung statistics ninyo, at least 30% of all occupations, at least 30% should be for women. Yun yung quota natin. Ilang percent yung lumabas sa statistics? Ilang percent mamang babae ngayon sa Maritime? 2%, 3% pa lang. So marami pa kayong hahabulin. This is a study we did. We did a survey. We came to this school and we conducted an initial survey in preparation for the strengthening of the ILO document and the CEDAW, the Convention of Elimination Against Discrimination Against Women. So before we went to the international courts, we had to gather data on the situation of females in the maritime industry. So galing ho ito sa research. Pero siguro 10 years ago ito, so i-validate na lang ninyo kung nangyayari pa ito. The generally masculine or male-centered nature of work on board the cargo and even passenger vessels make it more difficult for women to perform their work. I think this was mentioned in the study earlier. Among female ship officers, the most serious problem is their lack of female company on board cargo vessels. It is the usual practice at present to have just 1 or 2 female cadets in a cargo vessel consisting of some 30 personnel. This practice or arrangement exposes women to dangers of rape. We have documented cases of unwelcome sexual relations, sexual harassment, and sexual assault. In the initial study that we did 10 years ago, we investigated some of your vessels, and they are really very risky for women. Moreover, the females interviewed for this study claimed that 10 years ago, there is no toilet outside the cabins. May toilet na ba for women sa ships ninyo? Specifically designated for them. We have government standards now that all of us must practice. Even the location. Ito hong comfort room nyo, hindi compliant with the standard. Ano dapat ang unang comfort room na locate? We have all the standards. Just open the websites of all government agencies and you will look at all the standards. Where to locate the comfort room, how big, what is the lighting standard, and all that stuff. In the study that we did, they have to use the same facility assigned to male crew members. Ma'am, hindi na ba, may I ask you, meron na bang separate comfort room sa cabins? Sa ships? What do you mean na it depends? Magagalit si Ate Carol. Wala. Can it be a standard now? The CMO CHED regulation is very strong on the language of no, absolutely no to sexual harassment. And then there are guidelines if you have married students, if you have mothers, gano'n, no? Are you, sabi nyo, do you accept sa school ang married na? Hindi na. Single lahat. Meron bang married sa inyo dyan, mga bata? Married na lalaki? Well, anyway, ang hirap ng buhay ngayon, tanggapin nyo lahat ang pwedeng tanggapin sa eskwela. Strengthen programs and services that would immediately respond to the gender-related problems of females in the maritime industry. Salamat po sa inyong lahat. Pakiusap ko po sa inyo, yung mga bagong ships, ano nyo na yung standard, ha? I can show you. Yung mga bagong ships, ha, please? Okay, marami pong salamat.
Thank you.